What's up? Hey, and hello. Welcome to the space. You have officially made it to the chat back couch with your good neighbor, Esha, or Coach Esha if you need that self concept work. And I am keeping you connected to everyday people from around the net doing amazing things. I'm so glad to have you here. Make sure you guys drop down in the description box for all the details on how to tap in with today's guest and other ways that you can support the channel. And I thank you for your presence. Speaking of presence, I have the pleasure of sharing the space today with Papa Ness, a man with many hats, literally. Uh, I'm
Indeed.
gonna have him get into the full introduction, but you probably know him as the owner of Raindrops Music and Multimedia. But Papa Ness, I'm gonna let you give the neighbors a bit more about the man behind the brand. Tell us who you are, what you do, and any other good news or projects that you think that we should know.
Okay. Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Popa Ness, a hip hop artist that started off way back in the days. I ended up started off DJing minutely in Goldsboro, and then I turned it into a situation where I started MCing.
Mhm.
So I went from that part of the situation to taking it to a more professional level. So I did performances in North Carolina,
Mhm.
to Richmond and Maryland and so on and so forth. And ended up going to Full Sail in 2001 to get a more professional hold on the engineering side of things.
Nice.
Um, and that's when I started Raindrop International Multimedia to kind of consolidate all the things that I was doing. As Isha said, I wore many hats.
Mhm.
Um, so it started off like with um, art was my main uh, go-to as far as my skill level of talent, and I had been drawn like multiple years and got several awards and had some of my artwork to be on display in the White House and the U.S. Capitol. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, I came in first place in the state of North Carolina. This was back in like 1990. Uh,
Wow. Ew.
yeah, so it's amazing how time flies.
Mhm.
So that has always been a part of the business as far as the art goes.
Okay.
But I always been a music lover, so I pretty much pushed myself towards that end.
Mhm.
Um, and started Ranger International Multimedia, as I said before, and graduated Full Sail in Orlando, Florida, in 2002.
Okay.
Uh, so that was a great experience.
So tell me about that shift from going from, and I know it's not too hard of a shift in the industry, but just the mental switch and more behind the scenes when you were doing the DJ and the artist work going into engineering. Talk to me about like what was your mindset behind that? What made you want to go to school to get more into the business side of that, engineering aspect?
Well, basically, it was because it was so many fundamentals about recording that I was unclear about,
Okay.
and I wanted to be able to have the knowledge to be able to produce solid records to be played on air, and to
Hmm.
have a strong understanding of um, what it means to mix and master and record music, and
Right.
not just put out music that didn't have. It could be good music, but the quality might be garbage, you know.
Right.
And whenever I was attending school, I my one of my instructors, he had engineered Pac's album "All Eyes on Me," and
Ooh.
yeah, he was one of the engineers, and I brought my music to him. I had not known, who he was at that time.
Uh,
So it was a lab, so I let him hear my music. He was like, "Oh man, this is garbage." So I got upset with him. I'm like, "What do you mean it's garbage?" So I'm at the beginning of the school year, so to speak. So he
yeah.
was like, "It's not your music." He was like, "The quality of your work is could be better, a whole lot better."
Hmm.
So from that point, that's when I really started to engage into the engineering side and getting the understanding of what makes music sound good.
Yeah.
And that really helped me out a whole lot.
That's amazing how we get aligned, and sort of humbled at the same times, and how you can let that situation make or break you because you could have easily been like, you know what, forget it, I'm not, going to do this anymore, and let that have been it. But you pursued, you pushed through, you used it as fuel to, continue motivating yourself and go even harder, even deeper. And now you acquired a whole nother skill set off of, that interaction. And I'm pretty sure there was, more that goes into it than that. But just highlighting that and then him being who he was and you not even knowing. I think that's so dope. Definitely a story to pass on. And I'm glad that we got to hear it here on Chatback. So
Yeah,
I want to talk about what when I first started doing like podcasting and things like that, I started off with a like a show, a radio show on Blog Talk Radio back in the day.
yeah.
And I used to interview independent artists. And one thing that I found they were having, a lot of challenges with was that business side of the music industry and really understanding not just the contracts, but, how things work. Like you don't necessarily have to want to be an engineer, but understand what goes into making, quality songs and things like that. I always would encourage them to, in some way, educate themselves on the business side. Can you chime in on how you feel about that? Because I know you obviously worked with a lot of people. You've been in the game for a long time. You've seen a lot of things, I'm sure. So what could you add to that to, kind of empower these upcoming artists to make sure that they understand the business?
Well, as they say, the music industry or any industry that's entertainment, the business side is the most important side.
Hmm.
So you want to make sure that you are the owner of your music, unless you contractually sign a contract.
Hmm.
And if you do contractually sign a contract, make sure you have someone there that understands it, an entertainment lawyer or
Right.
somebody that's conversed in the field of entertainment to give you the rundown of what it is that you truly need to understand.
Hmm.
Um, Make sure you I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of what every artist, if you want to be independent, it's
Yeah.
it's a great route to go independent. And you could really make a living off of it. So one of the first things you want to start off with is copyrights. Learn your copyrights laws. 70 years per song or 70 years whenever you register a song before you
Mhm.
have to recopyright it again. Also, there are certain codes that goes with music that is tracked whenever you put it out. So it's called an ISRC code. So an ISRC code, you can get that online and you can look it up, and that's it's a code that helps you keep up with your music and show that you are the owner. And a
Mm.
lot of artists and a lot of people that deal with anything in the industry, if you don't have the ISRC code, your music could be going to, or your information could be going to companies, and the company's benefiting off you, but you have no idea because you
Okay,
don't
y'all.
have that ISRC code.
Y'all better be
So
taking notes.
sometimes, with distro and CD Baby, they'll give you an ISRC code.
Okay.
But me personally, I prefer that you get your own, and it's only a fee of probably, whenever I did it, it was like $120 at the time.
Right.
But
It's worth it.
it's worth it. So with that one ISRC code, you could register over 100,000 songs for 1 year.
Wow. That's
Right,
dope.
right. So upon that, you got to make sure you register your music not just with CD Baby and TuneCore. I'm gonna say all the distribution platforms, CD Baby, TuneCore, and all the rest. When they distribute your music, there are other companies on the other side of the spectrum that
Mhm.
picks your music up. On streaming platforms like Tidal may
Mhm.
not be covered by a certain streaming platform information. So
Right.
therefore, you have to go through like Music Report, and then you have to go through like Sound Exchange, and they cover different aspects of the spectrum whenever it comes to streaming. So
Mhm.
if you're covered by Sound Exchange, it doesn't cover all the spectrums of music, you know,
Right.
and the streaming platform. So you have to register with multitude of different performance rights organizations in order to make sure you're getting your royalties.
Okay.
Um, all the way down to you it's so many, like whenever that's why when labels do business with people, that it costs a lot because the administrative work
Yeah.
on the back end is a lot.
I can
it's
imagine just
it's
listening to
truly a
you.
lot.
Know,
Yeah.
just listening to you right now, I'm like, man, I had no idea about some of this stuff. And it's I mean, I guess if you're in that industry, in that world really closely, you'll find out, but it's not something that I see, people just kind of sharing every day, like, they share their meal on Instagram. At least not in this detail. I haven't. It may be people out there doing it. I don't know. Y'all don't bite my head off, but I have not seen anybody go this detailed for free. For the free 99,
No,
y'all getting it
no,
for free.
no, this is trust me, this is free game right here. Like, this is the part that a lot of the establishments actually you pay for this. So I believe in helping people,
Yeah.
because if you make great music, it is what it is. And
Right, exactly.
yeah, and I feel like if you make great music, you should be entitled to own your music.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and a lot of people will some companies will live off the backs of your dreams if you're not sharp about what you do.
Mm,
um, so you have to be careful about that.
yeah,
um, and you have to know how the industry works as well, and be careful whenever y'all submitting your music, and make sure your music is registered on
yeah,
all platforms. you know um, I remember starting off and registering our work with and
mhm,
I didn't know the back end of it,
right,
and ended up our music was shown online um, under
mhm,
and we was like, hold on, now we know we didn't register with that, nobody talked to us, so we had to end up pulling all our music off of line.
wow,
So that's when I really started to look at the business end of the performance rights organizations that's in charge of what comes back to the person that puts out the music. So as an artist or anyone that's putting out any type of digital information, to make sure that you get everything on the back end, because right now every month I'm getting um, royalties
mhm.
based off the music that I have put out.
Right. And you should, as you should.
Right.
You've done work. It's your creative work, and you should definitely get the credit and the cheddar for your work. Absolutely. I support artists and, creatives definitely getting their flowers and getting their finances while they can use them and smell them.
Oh yeah.
Because Lord knows there's a lot that goes into the creative processes. And then to have somebody, like you with the extent of expertise and, hands-on skills that you have, definitely pay that man his money, okay?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I mean, because you put in so much work to do what you're doing, and then to come to find out that you're not being covered on all aspects of things.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That's hurtful. It's like it's definitely a little bit of a cut to the heart because, I know personally as an artist, I'm very sensitive about my work, and if I put something out, for people to enjoy, and, I expect it to be covered, protected, and, taken care of by the people I entrust to take care of it, and it's not, sometimes that can be very deterring, and, I'm glad that you pursued anyway, and you went and got what you needed to get and did what you had to do so that you protected yourself and you maintain, integrity in your work. I love that.
absolutely, absolutely, because it's nothing like not only enjoying your music, but you're able to see the residuals that come from it.
Yeah.
You got to understand, once you put your music online, it's out there for eternity.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure it's registered on all aspects,
Yeah.
and that it will pay out, in so many different aspects of, even when we're not in the physical form. So
Right. Absolutely.
and you'd be able to pass it down as a legacy to family members or to children if you have any.
Right, right. And to add to that, yes, we want to make sure that we are doing everything on our end as artists. Whatever you label yourself, but companies do good business. Okay, have some couth out there
Mhm.
and do good business. That's all I'm gonna say on that.
Yeah. Oh
Speaking
yeah.
of projects, though, what projects do you have going on right now? Do you have any new music that you are putting out? Any collaborations that you can talk about? What's going on in your world?
Well, I'm currently releasing how can I say, chapters in a audio book. I'm
Okay.
gonna convert it to video as well. Well, basically it's music, but
Uh-huh.
I'm releasing chapters about my life, and it's
Mm,
called Book of Elliot, and it's
okay.
on all streaming platforms. So I'm at 17 chapters right now. So
Okay.
I have collaborations with the legendary Sadat X Brand Nubian, uh,
Ooh.
some one of my good friends, Preem, and some one of the producers that I went to school with, named Big E.
Okay.
He worked with Dallas Austin back
Ooh,
in the day. So
nice.
yeah,
Veteran up in there.
oh yeah. So the Book of Elliot is streaming on all platforms right now, and like I said, I'm on chapter 17.
Okay.
Um, and just throughout the music scene, I've been engineering quite a lot as well.
Mhm.
And a lot of those some of those features